Hi guys, welcome to video lesson 2.3. 2.3 is called Multiplying and Dividing Rational Numbers. This is going to be a 4-part series, just like lesson 2.1. So this is part 1 of part 4. You'll watch each part only as they are assigned to you. You'll only watch this part if this is the only part you've been assigned. So our essential question for today is, how can you use operations with rational numbers? And today that operation is multiplication, and we are specifically going to use decimals only. Oops. So if you take a look, we have decimals. We're going to be multiplying rational numbers, and since decimals are rational numbers, today we're just going to learn how to multiply decimals. So have your notebooks ready, and what I'd like to point out to you right before we begin, if you take a look at the two signs, I have one sign that is negative, and I have one sign that is positive. So if you go back to your integer rules, when your signs in multiplication, when your signs are the same, your answer is what? Your answer is positive. Okay, remember that means if I have two negatives, that still equals positive. Negative times negative equals positive, and a positive times a positive still equals positive. All right, this is just a review. We should know this by now. And a negative times a positive equals negative, and a positive, let's do this over here, a positive times a negative still equals not 1 but negative. Okay, these are rules that you should know by now. Signs are the same, the answer is positive. Signs are different, the answer is negative. So when I look at this, the first thing I kind of conclude is that my solution is going to be, don't need that my solution is going to be negative. So I get a negative something. Okay, so that way I can multiply without worrying about all the signs. So we're going to set this up. Ignore the decimal points for now. We'll worry about the decimal points after we multiply. We are going to start with the 6, and we will multiply 6 times 5 is 30, 0 carry up the 3. Okay, and then 6 times 2 is 12, add 3, we get 15. Are there any questions to that so far? If you have a question, write it down. Now we are done with the 6, so we don't need to worry about the 6 anymore. We're finished. So we can put a 0 as a placeholder. We now take a look at the 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 carry up the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we get so far a problem that looks like this. Now we add. Okay, here's where we do addition. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 plus 7 plus 1 that we carried is 9. So the next question is, the decimal point, we have so far 900 on our paper. If you go back to the original problem, how many decimal places are after the 2? And I hope you're saying 1 decimal place. What is that? Oh, there's 1 decimal place after the 2. And how many decimal places after the 3? 1 as well. So altogether we have 2 decimal places, the 5 and the 6. So when we write our solution, we have to move the decimal point in 2 places, 1 and 2. So we get a final answer of negative 9.00, or you can write it simply as negative 9. Are there any questions? The next example, if you read your instructions carefully, simply wants us to tell whether the expression is positive or negative without evaluating. So I'm not looking for an answer here. I'm just looking for you to tell me whether or not the solution is positive or negative. So you want to pay attention to two things, the operation and the signs. All right, so for number 1, I have 2 negatives in multiplication. So when my signs are the same in multiplication, my answer is positive. Oh, I don't want that. So my answer is going to be positive. For number 2, my operation is division. I have 1 positive divided by 1 negative, so my answer is negative something. For number 3, I have 1 negative times 1 positive, so a negative times a positive. My solution will be negative. For the last one, I have a negative divided by a negative, so my solution is positive since the signs are the same. Do you see a relationship between multiplying and dividing rational numbers compared to multiplying and dividing integers? And hopefully you are able to see that the rules for multiplying and dividing integers are exactly the same as multiplying and dividing fractions and decimals. Okay, for these 3, what I'd like for you to do is give these 3 a try all on your own. Pause the video and I'll share the solutions with you when you're done. Number 1, we're going to take 1.8. Do not worry about lining up the decimal places, and 5.1. And we're going to multiply. Worry about decimal places and negatives at the end. I'm going to start with the 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. Now I'm going to go to the 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. I now add. 8 plus 0 is 8. 1 plus 0 is 1. 9 plus nothing is 9. Now I am going to determine the decimal place. I have 1 decimal place here after the 1. I have 1 decimal place here after the 5. So altogether, I have 2 decimal places. So from the right, I'm going to move in 1, 2 places. Now the last thing I need to figure out is if my answer is positive or negative. My signs are different in multiplication, so my answer is negative 9 and 18 hundredths. Okay, here is the solution now for number 2. So for number 2, again, we're just going to multiply first, and then we'll worry about signs and decimals at the end. That first 0 and negative 0.6, we don't need it, but if you want to write it, go right ahead. 6 times 3 is 18. 8 carry 1. If you need your multiplication chart, now's the time to take it out. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 1 is 37. Okay, again, we don't really need to pay attention to that 0 because it's in the beginning of the problem. Now we count the number of decimal places. 1 place after the 6, 1 place after the decimal point. So altogether, we have 2 decimal places. So from the right, we move in 1 place, 2 places. So my final answer is, so far, 3.78. I have 2 signs that are both negative, so since they're the same, my answer stays positive. Okay, rules of multiplying numbers. And here is example number 3. In example number 3, I see negative 1.3 to the 3rd power. What that means is negative 1.3 times negative 1.3. That means we take this number and we multiply it by itself 2 whole times. So what we're going to do now is set up the problem and multiply as normal. 1.3 times 1.3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. We're done with this first digit 3, so we can put a 0 here. Now we go to the 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Now we add. 9 plus 0 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 plus nothing is 1. Now we count the number of decimal places after the whole number. I have 1 decimal place here and 1 decimal place here to make a total of 2 decimal places. So with that number, we move in 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. And I need to determine my sign. A negative times a negative means that my solution final is positive 1.69, since both of my signs are the same. Okay, here is a real-life application question. And what we're looking at here is an investor who owns stock A, B, and C. Consider these just different bank accounts. So consider these different bank accounts, and each of them have a different original value. Then each of them have a different current value if you look at the list this way. And the red represents that the change represents a negative change, or money was taken out, and the green represents a positive change because it earned money, or money was put in. So what we want is, we want to find the mean value in the change of the stocks. So how do we do that? Well, let's take a look here. The key word here, there's 2 keywords. The first one being mean, and the next word is, what is the mean change in value? So we want to know the average of what it changed, so it's right in here. So if you notice, the numbers that we're taking are the numbers that I just circled. So we're going to take a look at negative $180.39 plus $127.28 plus negative $280.52. So with all that, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you live how to add all these. What I like to do is take the 2 negative numbers and add them up. So I'm going to take 180.39. I'm going to add that to 280.52. So 9 and 2 is 11, 5 and 4 is 9, 0, 8 and 8 is 16, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So since these are both negatives, my solution so far is negative 460. Oops. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this negative 460 is subtract the positive value. Why is this here? All right, so I'm going to take 460.91. Remember, if you're sitting there wondering, why is she subtracting now? My signs are different. This top number is a negative number, and this bottom number is positive. So since the signs are different, I have to take away to find out how much is left over. So let's subtract. I can't do 1 minus 8, so the 9 becomes an 8. This becomes 11. So 11 minus 8 is 3. 8 minus 2 is 6. We have to borrow again. 10 minus 7 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So since I have more negatives than there is positives, my solution is negative 333, or $333.63. But the question is asking us to find the mean change in value. So mean is just a fancier word for find the average. So what we're going to do now is take 333, and we are going to divide this by what number? And hopefully you are all saying by 3. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 3 once. Bring the decimal point straight up. 3 goes into 6 twice, 3 goes into 3 once, so I have absolutely no remainder left over. And since I'm multiplying a positive 3 by a negative $333.63, my final answer is negative $111.21. So the mean change in value is negative $111.21. All right, congratulations, you've reached the end. Please be sure you complete your assessment and bring your notes to class tomorrow. Thank you.